Hi and welcome back to our channel. Today I just want to very briefly talk about enclosure integrity testing for fire suppression systems. So there's a video there that talks a little bit about fire suppression systems, but we find that one of the most overlooked aspects of a room that has a suppression system installed is actually testing the enclosure for airtightness. So if you have a FM200 system, Novec, Energen, IG541, any of these systems, there's an envelope around that room that when the system is designed, the leaks in the room are measured and they're accounted for in the system design. So ideally you have a very tight room that retains the gas as long as possible. But if you have holes in the room, as the gas discharges into the room, it sinks to a point in the room where it's no longer protecting the structures in the room. So the importance of testing the actual enclosure of the room is vital. We find that at construction stage, these tests are done, the gas is installed and everything is fine, but as a room becomes operational and you have penetrations into it for pipe work, for data cables in data rooms, that type of thing, we're finding that you get more and more holes into this room that aren't adequately sealed or incorrectly sealed or just completely forgotten about. So when you go to do, if you actually have a discharge in this room and the holes in this room are greater than were expected in the design stage, the integrity disappears in the room, the gas discharges out of the room quicker than you were expecting, and you don't get the retention of the gas in the room for long enough to actually put out the fire. So if you're not testing the enclosure for your fire suppression system, the room that your fire suppression system is protecting, if you're not doing an enclosure test and you don't have a register of every time that there's a penetration into this room, you really may not be protected in that area. I'm going to do some separate videos on how we actually do these enclosure tests. It involves installing a fan in the door. There's a lot of expertise go into them. There's 2 engineers here that are trained up to Retrotex level 3 with this. So we really know what we're doing. We see an awful lot of these, and it's quite disappointing that on a whole, a huge number of these rooms that are actually tested fail, and the end user doesn't tend to realize this until they see a video like this and it kind of inspires them to kind of ask the question around the integrity testing. So if you have questions around that, please do get in touch. We're very approachable about this, and even if you just need some advice and guidance as a first step, get in touch, have a chat, and we can talk you through what's actually required in terms of doing an enclosure test. Not only for meeting the standard, which is obviously the goal of these things, but really what you want is you want to make sure that room is protected the way you're expecting it to be protected. You've paid the money to put the suppression system in there. Now make sure that the enclosure is suitable for what you're trying to do. Okay, thanks very much.